welcome to Supercats Cat. We are starting with a very important series for you, which is titled Sure Shot Success Series. So I'll be coming live exactly at this very time, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and we'll be discussing some very interesting areas that can help you achieve that target percentile that you have in mind to reach to your top IIM college. Uh, the first session in this particular series that we'll be taking in the Sure Shot Success series will be about what are the techniques that you can employ at this stage, given that there are approximately 100 plus days left for the CAT preparation. What is it that you can do when it comes to trying to secure a 99 plus percentile in the CAT exam? This is the very first session, but there are some very interesting sessions lined up. What could be the most important topics in QA? This year, I'm Calcutta is conducting the exam. So what changes can you expect? Would there be any significant difference to what happened last year? What are the most important topics across the three sections of QA, VRC, and DLR, and so on and so forth? So this entire month of August would be packed with sessions where I'll be coming live and discussing things one-on-one with you. So if you have any questions, any doubts, you can uh, raise your questions then and there itself. And if you are not live, you can always attend these sessions later on. So start karte hain with the first agenda, which is strategy for 99 percentile as far as CAT 2024 exam is concerned. So CAT 2024 में 99 percentile अगर secure करना है, so what is it that you should take care of? Uh, and a lot of times we tend to feel it's easy for someone to say, but when it comes to doing it, it becomes a big challenge. Sir, it's always easy to preach. In fact, एक शेक्सपियर का बहुत अच्छा quote है, which is that he who cannot do teaches. जो कर नहीं पाता वो पढ़ाने की कोशिश करता है. But having said this, therefore understand that whatever I'll be sharing will be from my own personal experiences that have worked for you, and therefore, more often than not, you would feel that these suggestions or advice that I'm trying to suggest, if you are going to implement this, you will see a definite realistic change in your preparation. So this is not just all talk, this is genuine experience sharing, so to say, as to what is it that can work for you to achieve that coveted 99 plus percentile, right? So start karte hain discussion ko. The broad agenda that I'll share as far as this discussion goes is this, that you have to focus on broadly four areas, the prominent one being the right preparation. So we'll discuss in detail what are the important pointers that you should keep in mind when it comes to preparation. We'll also discuss about mocks, obviously very important area, and then analysis of those mocks, what could be the right way to analyze, and finally the right mindset. I think these three parts are related to your preparation directly, whereas this last part is completely dependent on your behavior, your nature, your ability to look about things and the way you react to them. So this will be something that will be extremely crucial. So stay till the end. I'll be discussing some important pointers to help you understand what are the things which can go wrong and why do they go wrong? How can we avoid it? So based on experiences, why is it that we tend to listen to other people? Uh, we can try it out ourselves and identify that these are the things that are going wrong. But if somebody has done it over and over again, then those experiences can help us avoid those things without trying to replicate them. So a big learning comes from this part where somebody has done it, knows the right and wrong ways to do it, and then you're learning from those experiences of somebody else. And that saves a lot of time, improves efficiency, and typically we are able to achieve our targets. So let's start our discussion with the first part, which is understanding the right way to prepare. What is the right preparation that you are expected to do at this stage and continuing till CAT 2024 and beyond? So, first part is balancing your preparation across the three sections. So, it is extremely important that you take due care to balance your preparation across the three areas. What do I mean? Uh, when I say balance the preparation across three areas, a lot of the people who would be appearing for CAT may have identified by now or may have a feeling by now that my VRC section is fine or my DLR section is fine or my QA is fine, but I'm not so good in the other two sections, or I'm good in two sections, but I'm not so good in the third. And generally, this is very human for us to keep on doing things that we are good at. rather than focusing on things that we are not so good at. तो right preparation का एक बहुत integral aspect है to start doing things that we don't like to do. I mean, it's a difficult message when I say balancing the sections, but believe me, I've seen innumerable number of students over the years जिनके दो sections में बहुत fabulous percentile आए हैं. Overall भी 99 के काफी close चला गया, कुछ cases में 99 के above भी चला गया है, but finally they ended up with close to zero calls from IIMs. Why zero calls? Because sectional cutoff किसी एक section का नहीं निकला. They were fabulous in two sections. In fact, they were better than expected, uh, better than what was expected of them in the actual CAT exam. They were able to do fabulously well across two sections. But एक section जो उनका weakness था, उसमें they were not able to go beyond the sectional scores. So understand that you have to balance your preparation, and more importantly, इस स्टेज पे जाकर you will have to focus on your weakest section so that you are able to clear sectional cutoffs at least. I know a lot of people will give you the other way around का advice that you should focus on your stronger areas. Weakness तो है, उसका कुछ कर नहीं सकते, कर सकते हैं. There is sufficient time left. Believe me, a lot of people would start their preparation from now on. There are going to be students who will start their preparation from now on, and if you're one of those जो अपनी preparation आप start कर रहे हैं, a good idea will be to understand what you're good at and what is it that you would want to improve, and then focus more time, energy, practice on the section that you're not good at. तो तीनों sections का balance करना है. Now one common question that comes is, sir, are we expected to study all three subjects in one single day? Absolutely not. Nobody is recommending you to practice all three sections, all three areas in one day. You can devote one or two subjects in a day. Even if you devote just one entire day to one subject, that's also fine. But keep on rotating subjects so that in a week you have given enough time to all the three areas. It should not be the case that I start solving DILR and I like DILR so much that I'm solving DILR for the past 4 days. Don't do that mistake. ऑल्सो डोंट डू दिस मिस्टेक दैट यू क्रिएट स्पेसिफाइड टाइम्स कि आधा घंटा मुझे डीएलआर ही करना है, वो आधे घंटे में आपका एक सेट भी सॉल्व नहीं हुआ. यू हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू सॉल्व इवन वन सिंगल सेट इन दैट हाफ एन आवर, but because there is an alarm, you have kept only half an hour for DLR and then you have to switch to VRC. So then you have left that DLR ka part as it is. Don't do that. Don't be very strict on your timelines with regards to preparation for different sections. Make sure that in the span of 3 4 days, in a span of week, in a span of 10 days, you are able to devote sufficient amount of time across the all three sections. तीनों sections में बहुत अच्छे से आप time devote कर पा रहे हो, consistently तीनों sections को time दे रहे हो, justice कर पा रहे हो उन sections के साथ. That is the whole idea. Please take due care. Now is the time to work. बाद में जाके it might become too late कि सर अब तो English improve ही नहीं हो रहा. And English typically is one of those areas, same as the case with DLR, that will take more time to improve. Quant में you can see immediate improvements. आप एक चैप्टर दो चैप्टर कंप्लीट करोगे मॉड्यूल से या प्रैक्टिस करोगे, एंड अगर मॉक में क्वेश्चन आता है देयर इज अ चांस कि वो आपसे बन जाए, बट इट विल बी एक्सट्रीमली डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू improve English and DILR in a short span of time. Next important part, should you focus on full syllabus or should your focus now be only on covering part of the syllabus? क्या हम part of the syllabus की बात करें या पूरे syllabus को complete करने का thought दें, especially from the point of view of let's say section like VRC, like DLR, QA, इनका syllabus ही defined नहीं है, तो हम कैसे decide करें कि कितना पढ़ना है? If you look at past year's paper, you will get a fair idea कि across sections क्या क्या coverage है. Let's pick up VRC. So you will save 16 questions from RC and then 8 questions from para-jumbles, para-completion, odd one out, and sentence fitting. So broadly, this is all. So if you focus more on reading comprehension, it makes complete sense, and that focus on reading comprehension will add a lot of value to para-completion, para-jumbles, odd one out kind of sentences as well. So full syllabus English में तो बहुत defined है, but a lot of people feel therefore कि सर critical reasoning नहीं आता है. There is not a lot of weightage to critical reasoning. There are no questions on finding which of the following assumptions are correct, just like you have in some other competitive exams. Direct questions on critical reasoning are not there. If you think this is the case, you are mistaken. Even though just 2 3 years before, you might see the case that CAT used to ask critical reasoning indirectly. Now, from last year onwards, CAT has started to ask questions on critical reasoning directly. Just look at CAT 2023, uh, any slot, pick up slot one, let's say CAT 23 slot one, VRC का पेपर उठा के देखो, आपको इनवेरिएबली चारों पैसेजेस में से क्वेश्चन ये बहुत फ्रीक्वेंटली मिलेगा, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग is not one of the inferences that can be derived. So direct question on inference, direct question on conclusion, direct question on supporting the idea, strengthening the argument, weakening the argument. And this will be very, very useful for you when you take up questions on para summary as well, because that is also broadly based on your ability to analyze the paragraph very, very critically. So, एक important message, make sure that you take care of full syllabus. There is sufficient time for you to complete the basics of all areas. Let's move on to same case DLR. There is no well-defined scope of DLR, but there are topics like, let's say, roots and networks. There are topics like cubes. There are topics like games and tournaments. There are topics like distribution selection, definite important topic being Venn diagrams and stuff like that. So all such areas should be covered by you. We have already created a plan where you can cover them in detail. 5 months plan for CAT preparation. You can decide and customize that plan as well as per your strengths and weaknesses. So my suggestion, please cover at least the fundamentals of all such variations when it comes to DLR. And same is the case with QA. So are we expected to cover quadratic equations? Are we expected to cover statistics? My suggestion is yes. And why am I suggesting this? That this is important that you cover all the areas and try and at least cover the fundamentals of all the entire syllabus. There are simple questions that I'm going to ask you. Think it on your own. I am sure that you are intelligent enough to understand why have I asked these questions. So first question is, can any one of you, can anyone for that matter, predict from which topics will you have more number of questions? You can say, sir, we can make a calculated guess depending on what happened last year or year before that. Is there a relationship that exists between previous year's papers and current year's paper? Is there a definite relationship कि अगर 2 साल से TSG ज्यादा आया है तो इस बार भी TSG ज्यादा आ रहा है? There is no such relation. In fact, CAT is known to throw surprises. So एक टाइम था जब नंबर थ्योरी के क्वेश्चन 7-8 आते थे, बीच में एकदम से बंद हो गए. एक टाइम था जब ज्योमेट्री के क्वेश्चंस बहुत फ्रीक्वेंटली आते थे, वन ऑफ दोज ईयर्स ज्योमेट्री के क्वेश्चंस आए ही नहीं. So you will find areas that CAT will find to surprise you, and therefore we cannot predict what will happen. The best bet that we have is to cover the full syllabus at least at a basic level. हम बेसिक लेवल पे कम से कम अपना पूरा सिलेबस खत्म कर लें. इफ अ टॉपिक इज डिफिकल्ट, लेट्स से टॉपिक्स लाइक ट्रिग्नोमेट्री, very less number of questions asked in CAT in the last so many years, and you feel that trigonometry is not one of your stronger areas, at least understand that there are some basic identities like sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1, or sec square theta is equal to 1 plus tan square theta, or cosec square theta is equal to 1 plus cot square theta. At least these three basic identities, at least the Pythagoras theorem, at least basic questions on heights and distances. If you study, even if you study, let's say, for 3 to 4 hours of trigonometry and practice around 25 to 50 questions, that should be good enough to give you confidence कि अगर trigonometry का easy question आ गया तो मैं CAT में छोड़ के नहीं आऊंगा. हाँ, अगर टॉपिक डिफिकल्ट है, उसका कोई मॉडरेट या डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन आ गया, nobody can do much with that, but at least make sure that you take this very, very seriously, that you have to complete your entire syllabus. बिकॉज हमें नहीं पता कौन से टॉपिक से कितने क्वेश्चन आएंगे, हमें ये भी नहीं पता किस टॉपिक से इजी मॉडरेट आएंगे. सपोज यू आर वेरी गुड विथ अरिथमेटिक, यू नो excellent in time and work. In all your mocks, you were getting all questions right in time and work. I'll strongly recommend you to look at last year's CAT paper. If I'm not wrong, slot 3, there was a fabulous question on time and work. In the exam pressure, most students were not able to solve it. They skipped that question despite time and work being the strong area. So this might happen to you as well in your stronger areas. You have the best way to prepare for such a situation is to make sure that we take care of this कि हम अपने syllabus की सारे easy moderate topics खत्म कर चुके हैं. If you move ahead, these are the 3 steps that I'll strongly recommend while you are preparing. One is understanding what you are doing. Please raise questions and be brutally honest with what you're doing. I know you're a mature crowd, you would be pursuing graduation or having some work experience, but as students, sometimes we tend to go with the flow and tend to accept कि हाँ मुझे समझ में आ गया, although somewhere down the line we have this doubt कि यार 80% ही आया, 70% ही आया. Don't let that happen. Be brutally honest and accept कि मुझे समझ में नहीं आया. Try and understand why वो हमें समझ में नहीं आया, because ultimately we'll have to replicate that same concept later on somewhere else. So be honest to yourself. Try and understand whatever you have not been able to understand. Accept the fact कि आपको वो समझ में नहीं आया. Without understanding, there is no point of learning it further. So when I say learning, let's think of geometry. There are a lot of theorems, relationships. Just for the sake of understanding, if I straight away ask you what is angle bisector theorem, now immediately you should be able to recall that when there is an angle bisector, the angle bisector will divide the opposite side in the ratio of adjacent sides. Now, if you're clear with your concept, why is this happening and how is it related to the diagram? Will it be true for an exterior angle bisector as well? The answer is yes. How will the diagram look like for an exterior angle bisector? And so on and stuff. So I'm just throwing nuggets at you to realize what do you mean when you say learn. You should be able to recall very, very quickly. And to make sure that you are able to recall, it's important that you do regular revision. इफ यू फील कि 3 महीने पहले मैंने कोई टॉपिक पढ़ लिया था और अब मैं उसको रिकॉल करने का थॉट दूंगा, आपकी एफिशिएंसी नहीं रहेगी. अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स यू विल टेंड टू फॉरगेट एंड यू विल नॉट बी कॉन्फिडेंट. समटाइम्स यू विल बी एबल टू रिकॉल, या तो आ जाएगा कि एग्जैक्टली exactly ऐसा था, बट कई बार यू विल फील दैट आई एम नॉट वेरी श्योर कि यही था क्या, ऐसा कुछ था, पे आप अटक जाओगे, है ना. सो मेक श्योर, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेट सपोज समेशन ऑफ एन स्क्वायर. Summation of n square is sum of squares of first and natural numbers. If you have memorized that in progression without giving a lot of thought कि उसका यूज क्या है, कैसे एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, तो यू माइट फील कि कुछ फॉर्मूला था बड़ा सा, n+1 2n+1 करके कुछ था, या आई डोंट नो 2n+3 था, बाय 6 था. एक और ऐसा फॉर्मूला था n+1 n+2/3, वो किस केस में आता था, आई एम नॉट श्योर नाउ. सो अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स यू विल फील confused अगर आप रिविजन नहीं करते. योर एबिलिटी टू रिकॉल विल गेट affected badly. So make sure that you follow this process. 3 simple steps: understand, learn, and then recall. So for recall, make sure that you revise. मेक अ क्लियर नोटबुक. आप एक रिवीजन की नोटबुक बना लें अलग से, जहां पे आप अपने फॉर्मूलेज, कॉन्सेप्ट्स, एनी रिलेशनशिप्स दैट यू फील आर इंपॉर्टेंट, एनीथिंग दैट यू फील कि इसकी रिकॉल करने की जरूरत पड़ेगी बाद में और मैं भूल सकता हूँ, आई देयर इज अ चांस दैट आई माइट फॉरगेट, प्लीज मेक अ सेपरेट नोट ऑफ द सेम. एंड लास्ट पार्ट इज एक्सट्रीमली क्रूशियल. This is crucial not just for your studies but in general for life, which is being very, very focused. And let me take examples of what do I mean when I say focused learning. तो जब हम focused learning बोल रहे हैं तो focused learning का essentially मतलब क्या है? Track your day, and I'm telling this as a very important exercise for anyone who's watching this video. Track your day and just count कि कितने hours ऐसे थे जहां पे you were not distracted at all and you are completely immersed in your work that you lost track of time. मैं repeat कर रहा हूं. Small exercise. Let's say yesterday you worked really hard for your preparation, आपने बहुत पढ़ाई करी. Just count the number of hours for which you were so focused and immersed in your work that you lost track of time. आपको पता ही नहीं पड़ा कि वो टाइम कहाँ चले गया. वो वाला जो फोकस है, that is called as focused learning. Otherwise, I've seen n number of different students doing this day in and day out कि वो पढ़ने बैठे हैं, उनका फोन साइड में है, एंड वो एक क्वेश्चन का आधा पार्ट सॉल्व कर चुके हैं, उतनी देर में कोई पॉपअप आ गया, व्हाट्सएप का मैसेज आ गया, इंस्टाग्राम की रील का नोटिफिकेशन आ गया, एंड दे आर टेम्पटेड लाइक एनीथिंग. दे माइट snooze it off, they might lock the phone, they might ignore it, but then they are getting distracted. और शायद 2-3 क्वेश्चंस करने के बाद उनका वो दिमाग में बैक ऑफ द माइंड सबकॉन्शियस चलता रहता है दैट कुछ तो नोटिफिकेशन आया था. आफ्टर 3 क्वेश्चंस they'll pick up the phone and start looking at the screen. That is one way of distraction. Second way could be there is a call. Third way could be you are very restless. A lot of times I've seen students who are not able to sit focus for 1 hour. They want breaks very quickly. कि आधा घंटा हो गया है, अब तो मतलब I am not able to focus. I'll go and take a break. CAT is a 2 hour exam online and you will get seated at least 1 hour before. So 3 hours of sitting in front of the system. First hour getting bored like anything, bored to death, so to say, बिकॉज यू कांट डू एनीथिंग इन द एग्जाम रूम. 1 घंटा खाली बैठना है वहां पे स्क्रीन के सामने, फिर आपका पेपर 2 घंटे का चालू होगा. सो इट इज वेरी वेरी एसेंशियल that you learn this art of deep focus, and this will bring a huge amount of change in your preparation, the kind of efficiency it will bring. I'm pretty sure that irrespective of how well you prepare, you might have always felt this that maybe I could have done better. Coverage बहुत कम हुआ, मेरे दो ही सेट सॉल्व हुए, शायद चार हो जाते. ये क्यों हो रहा है? बिकॉज देर आर डिस्ट्रैक्शंस इन लाइफ. या तो इफ यू आर स्टेइंग विद फैमिली, फैमिली मेंबर्स का कोई डिस्ट्रैक्शन होगा, पड़ोस वाले रूम में कुछ डिस्टर्बेंसेस चल रहे होंगे, आई डोंट नो, देयर कैन बी एन नंबर ऑफ डिफरेंट वेज इन विच यू विल फील दैट मैं बहुत लंबे समय तक डीप फोकस के साथ काम नहीं कर पाया. क्रिएट अ स्पेसिफिक टाइम, लेट्स, एंड what could be done to overcome this. एक बहुत सिंपल तरीका है कि यू क्रिएट चंक्स. एक घंटे का टाइम निकाल लिया, अब एक घंटे में क्या करना है? एक घंटे में फोन साइड में रख देना है, एक घंटे के लिए बाकी सारे डिस्ट्रैक्शन हटा देने. टेक अ डीप ब्रेथ एंड डिसाइड फॉर योरसेल्फ कि अगले एक घंटे तक मैं अपनी पढ़ाई के अलावा किसी और चीज के बारे में सोचूंगा ही नहीं. When you do this repeatedly day in and day out, let's say for the next 7 days, 10 days, 12 days, it will become a habit. Man is a slave of his her habits. That's true. तो अगर अच्छी आदतें लगाओगे उसकी आदत पड़ जाएगी, खराब आदतें लगाओगे उसकी आदत पड़ जाएगी. वी आर स्लेव्स. So let us be good slaves, better slaves. So that was a part on focus learning which I strongly want you to follow, which is about right preparation. If I move ahead, the next part that we'll take up is right mocks. Now, what do you mean by right mocks? Uh, yeah, all right, no issues. I'll take questions, Jinay and Jay, both of yours. Uh, you should practice more RCs. So one question that was there was, should you practice more RCs or should you focus on more reading? It has to be a good balance. Why are mocks and why are practice questions for RCs important? Because they will tell you what is it that you need to focus on when it comes to elimination techniques, when it comes to skimming techniques, when it comes to identifying what is the trap that the author has set while creating the four options, and so on and stuff. So those specific learnings can only be had when you're practicing questions. For example, there are a lot of double or triple negative question types that might come. An example would be, which of the following is not one of the inferences that the author that we cannot infer? So which of the following is not one of the inferences that we cannot infer? दो बार negatives use कर लिए, double negatives या triple negatives की जब statements आएंगे, तो it's essential for you to understand what the author is trying to say. Similarly, when you're reading articles, it's important that you just don't read articles and move on. If there are difficult concepts or jargons, go back and understand what do these jargons refer to, what are the concepts about. So that will add a lot of value to similar such articles that you will read in future. So keep a good balance, uh, reading articles as well as practicing RCs. Going ahead, that balance has to tilt more in favor of practicing RCs, because while you're solving RCs, again you're reading articles, and while you're analyzing those RCs, you're again going into the depth of understanding those articles. Pure reading you can limit gradually as you go along. तो आप धीरे धीरे कैट की तरफ जाओगे, September onwards you might completely start skipping pure reading, just practice on focusing, so where you solve RCs only. Second question was, all right. So no worries, Jay. Go ahead, continue your preparation. All the best from my side. Let's focus on this area of right mocks. So when I say right mocks, one important message is the frequency of mocks. The number of mocks that you attempt should not be too high and they should not be too low. What is the problem with number of mocks being too high? Because then genuinely you will not be able to find enough time to do justice to the analysis part. And what is the problem with taking less number of mocks? You will not get habitual of taking enough number of mocks to do well in your CAT exam. So as somebody said, testing is a culture. You need to learn the skill to appear in mocks so that on the D-Day you will be able to perform. So there are n number of different variables at play. It is not just about preparation and delivering. There are different things at play. There is different pressure when you appear in the mock and different pressure when you appear in the D-Day. How can you reduce that gap by appearing in more number of mocks? So frequency of mocks should be very balanced. Take as many mocks as possible as long as you're able to justify it. The next part is quality of mocks. A lot of times, a lot of free content is available at a lot of places. And as students, we tend to feel, let me try this, let me try that. Sometimes, uh, you know, trying and attempting mocks which are completely irrelevant will take you away from the focus that you should have for your preparation and might also demotivate you. So it is very important that you focus on the quality of mocks and understand that they should be very, very relevant to the content that CAT is asking nowadays. A lot of material is outdated and not has been updated to the current trends in CAT. My suggestion will be please do not stick to those mocks that still cater to the typical patterns that used to happen years before. Stay updated with the relevant quality of mocks. The third is testing environment. For mocks, please, wherever possible, try and visit your center. If you have joined an institute, try and visit a center to appear in mock. If you have just taken a test series and there is no offline center available, please create an environment back home where at least you have this pressure that I cannot get up in between 2 hours. I cannot take a coffee break in between my mock. Also, contrary to popular belief, my suggestion will be let others around you create disturbances. So while you are appearing in mocks, make sure that you take this in your stride that there will be disturbances in the actual CAT exam as well, specifically at the start. So starting में VRC section start होगा and invigilators would be shouting at the top of their voice. Maybe some of them would also have mic if the hall is very large. That it's time to start the exam now. Everybody please click on start. Everybody please click on start. और इस तरह के messages जब आते जाएंगे तो you will start feeling bothered and will not be able to focus. So environment is very important. And last is giving 100%. Please never give a mock. Never give a single mock without you meaning to give it. Just because किसी ने बोल दिया इसलिए दे रहे हैं. आप उसे पहले एक्सेप्ट कर लो कि किसी ने बोल दिया है क्या वो सही है. Does this make sense for you to appear in mock? If yes, convince yourself first that this is right for me, and then once you're convinced, give your 100%. I have seen a lot of students coming back saying that I gave the mock but मेरा मन नहीं था देने के लिए दे दिया, तो फिर उस mock का कोई मतलब नहीं, आपने 2 घंटे वेस्ट कर दिए. When I say give your 100%, take it as seriously as you would have appeared for the actual CAT exam, giving your best, your entire energy, focus. You should feel exhausted. I mean, a lot of times I feel surprised when I see students, uh, which are very, very energetic, full of energy, smiles after their mocks, and they're like, नहीं ज़्यादा, it was ठीक था, scores भी बहुत अच्छे नहीं आए. Generally, you will find that good students feel exhausted, and people who have got good scores will vouch for this. That one aspect of just getting that good feeling that whether my mock was good was not, with regards to the kind of energy consumption that happens. If you're really, really involved in that mock, you will feel exhausted after that 2 hour का duration. You will feel कि पता नहीं क्या हुआ, 2 घंटे पता ही नहीं पड़े कहाँ चले गए, और बहुत exhausted feel कर रहा हो. You'll be drained because of the mental consumption of your energy. So take this seriously. Giving 100% is extremely important to your mocks. बढ़ते हैं आगे. Next part that we'll take up is the right analysis. So when it comes to right analysis, what are the things that you should keep in mind? Let's talk first of VRC. So when I say VRC, it's important for you to understand what is going wrong, and you have to do a micro level analysis. In fact, in the same series, CAT Sure Shot Success series, I'm going to come up with very interesting analytical tools that you can create on Excel. Maybe if required, you can request the same in the comment section, and I'll share that Excel file with you where you can create your own customized analysis that can help you. I'm sure whatever test series you would have joined gives you a lot of insights and analysis, but there can be some very unique customized inputs that are relevant, that are generally not available in a lot of analysis. So we can focus on that as well. VRC में it has to be a very detailed micro level analysis. When I say detailed micro level analysis, you should exactly know कि इस mock में मेरे RC में 16 में से कितने questions correct गए, कितने attempt करे थे, जो गलत गए वो क्यों गलत गए, जो सही गए वो तुक्के से सही तो नहीं गए, वो I hope that they were not fluke, and if not, what were the reasons that I marked those answers? identifying the typical genres, the writing style, the question types. You should have this micro level analysis after every mock and understand the patterns after three, four such mocks. So when I say understand patterns after three, four such mocks, a lot of times you will find, and I'm just giving an example, a lot of times you'll find that whenever there are passages on genetics and biotechnology and biology and science, and specifically science related to the stream of bio, you are not able to score well. So maybe that genre, that theme, you're not able to understand really well. Same is the case for, let's say, literature-based RCs or history-based RCs. So identify what is that theme that is not working for you. Identify the question type that is not working for you. So that is the suggestion for VRC. For DILR, make sure that you take this very, very seriously, that ultimately you're going to see a new puzzle. You will never find the same puzzle irrespective of how many sets you solve, how many mocks you attempt. You will find a new puzzle out of the four sets that you will have. All four sets would be different. What is the best way to attack a puzzle? It's to develop that ability to crack the clues. So there are broadly two, three reasons why in DLR you are not able to solve a set. One is you have not been able to interpret the full meaning of a clue. So if a particular clue is given, there could be multiple interpretations of that clue. There could be multiple insights that you can draw. Maybe you are weak on that. And the second part, when it comes to not being able to solve a DLR set, is you are afraid of possibilities, and therefore you have not drawn the complete set of possibilities. Suppose there are four cases, five cases, six cases. So you are stuck there and feeling that, this set has six cases. There might be other clues that will reduce the cases rather than going ahead and creating those six cases. So my suggestion will be that take this seriously, that DILR, the skill to interpret clues, the skill to relate to the relationships that are given, will be developed only by practice. And the typical suggestion, so let's say we have 100 days plus left. If you target two sets daily of CAT level, two to three sets daily, my suggestion ideally will be four sets. But practically, let's assume that may not be possible for a lot of you because you're working, there are some other reasons, college, etc. Two sets daily, CAT level, identifying what is going right, what is going wrong, and sitting with them. And then only when necessary, when you're given up on them, then you are looking at the solution that will help you develop that skill. Just trying it out once very quickly in 5 minutes and then quickly watching the solution and then going to the next set. Don't do it just because somebody has said it. Don't cut corners in your preparation. तो आपको जब DLR के सेट सॉल्व करने हैं तो you have to make sure that you solve it to the best of your abilities. Only when you have exhausted all options कि नहीं हो रहा, तब look at the part where you were getting stuck. इसके आगे क्या करा solution में जिससे आया, तो वो interpretation of clues की skill आपकी बढ़ जाएगी. Last part is QA analysis. Again, it has to be very detailed. What are your stronger topics? What are the number of questions that have come from those topics? Have you been able to attempt all such questions from your stronger topics and get them right? If yes, if you have got them right, then what is the amount of time in seconds that you have taken? Typically, if you, let's say that you don't get even 2 minutes per question, because 22 questions and 40 minutes are there. So then for your stronger topics, you should be able to solve them within 2.5 minutes. If you're not doing that, maybe you need to get better at solving them correctly in less time. So currently you're getting them right. So this is the level of detailed analysis that you're expected to do. For questions that you have skipped, how much time have you taken to skip them? So for a lot of questions, you might just take 5, 7, 10 seconds and you can skip them. But if there are some questions that you've tried and not been able to solve, what was the catch in those questions that you spent 2 to 3 minutes and then you realize that you'll not be able to solve? So these are some of the important aspects when it comes to the analysis part of the three sections, right? Finally, last part is extremely crucial, and a lot of people don't do this. They just stick to this analysis of three sections. What they forget to do is going back to the drawing board. What do you mean when I say go back to the drawing board? Let's suppose I had done simple interest, compound interest 2 months back, and now there is a question in mock, and I attempted it, got it wrong. So I just looked at the solution. I felt कि देख के solution समझ में आ गया, अच्छा ये गलती करी थी. But I then tend to move on. I tend to feel कि SIC है तो मैं पहले कर चुका हूँ, mock में गलती से गलत हो गया. No, you have to go back and find such similar questions that have appeared earlier. Identify कि किस तरह का और type हो सकता है. look at your revision notebook, recap all your formulas. All these things are extremely crucial for you to keep on revising stuff. And this is the best way to revise stuff. After analysis of every mock, pick up areas, highlight areas that I need to go back to philosophy based RCs. I need to go back to assumptions wale questions. I need to go back to direct detail wale questions which are directly mentioned in the passage. I need to go back to central idea wale questions. I need to go back to distribution ke questions in LR. I need to go back to Venn diagrams. I need to go back to arithmetic, time and work. You should know at the top of the mind, recall that these are areas that I need to work on after your analysis. And I've said this earlier, I'll repeat this n number of times till you appear for CAT. Whenever you appear in mocks, please preserve your rough sheets. Your rough sheets are gold mine. When you do the analysis, it is your rough sheets that will help you understand what have you done while you were appearing the exam, and then take it from there while you analyze your questions, which got right, which got wrong. So this was the last part, going back to the drawing board. Let's move ahead. The final agenda for today's discussion is the right mindset. So let's understand, what do I mean when I say right mindset? So in general, you would have seen this in life as well, that when it comes to a lot of areas, whether it be education, whether it be sports, an element of behavior, an element of nature, an element of mindset or temperament has a huge, huge role to play. So there are a lot of super skilled people, super knowledgeable people who sometimes are unable to do well when it comes to the big stage. And there are some less skilled, less knowledgeable people who are able to do fabulously well when it comes to pressure situations. And this is exactly the message. Is it possible for us to identify where we lie in that spectrum of our ability to perform when matters? This set of phrase, your performance when matters, is actually crucial. सो लेट्स टेक द केस ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स. नेट प्रैक्टिस में आप बहुत अच्छे हो, रणजी ट्रॉफी में आप बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हो, बट जब भी आपको इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे चांसेस मिल रहे हैं, यू आर स्पॉइलिंग देम. So then that is not the objective of anybody. So same is the case with education. Mocks में आप बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हो, class performance आपका बहुत अच्छा है, you're able to grasp things really well, but your grasping power, despite being amazing, your ability to learn, despite being very good, on the D day when it matters, you crumble under pressure, and which is where this right mindset is extremely important. How can you avoid some important negative aspects which I've seen over the years while counseling students? A lot of times students have this all or nothing wala attitude. What do you mean all or nothing? एक मॉक में अगर स्कोर कम आ जाता है, तो इमीडिएटली इतना डिमोटिवेट हो जाते हैं स्टूडेंट्स की, सर मेरा तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला. तो मतलब इनडायरेक्टली आर सेइंग कि इसी एक मॉक के बेसिस पे योर रिजल्ट वाज गोइंग टू गेट डिसाइडेड. नॉट रियली. सो देन व्हाई आर यू हैविंग दिस ऑल और नथिंग माइंडसेट कि या तो मेरे सारे मॉक्स में अच्छे स्कोर्स आएंगे या फिर मेरे किसी में भी कुछ नहीं होगा? There is no black or white when it comes to life. It is always a continuum. And I hope that you understand the term continuum, that when you think of the different possibilities, let's take a simple example to understand what is continuum. When you have infinite possibilities between two different extremes, let's take this case of speed. Suppose you're riding a bike or a scooter or a car and you increase your speed till 40 kilometers per hour. What are the different speeds that you have touched? जीरो पे कार स्टेशनरी थी, आपने 40 तक की स्पीड रेस कर ली. कितनी अलग अलग स्पीड्स, कितनी अलग अलग स्पीड्स आपने टच कर लिए? दिल से सर 0, 10, 20, 40. नो, यू हैव टच्ड इनफाइनाइट नंबर ऑफ स्पीड्स. 10.321967 किलोमीटर पर आवर की भी आपकी स्पीड बीच में कभी हुई थी, और ऐसी इनफाइनाइट वैल्यूज भी रीच हुई है. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि एक टाइम पे 0 थी, सडनली 40 हो गई. इट इज अ ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस, दैट इज अ कॉन्टिन्यूम. I hope continuum as a term is clear to you. If this is clear, then please understand, same is the case with life, same is the case with mocks. Your scores will be a continuum, sometimes low, sometimes high. There'll be ups and downs. Don't have this negative approach of all or nothing. या तो मैं आया अहमदाबाद में जाऊंगा या तो जाऊंगा ही नहीं. ऐसा नहीं होता. अहमदाबाद की सीट्स 385, 390, 400 के आसपास ही हैं. उसमें भी रिजर्वेशन है. So depending on the category that you belong to, you have limited number of seats, and you cannot have this attitude, okay, I'll just do this. It's good to have ambitions. I'm nothing against that. try your best. But then I'm Bangalore, Calcutta are as good, if not better, than Ahmedabad. And similarly, Lucknow, Jamshedpur, FMS are not far behind. So it's a continuum. Please don't have this all or nothing approach. Mocks का सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक purpose होना चाहिए, which is to get better. Your entire objective thought process should be on this one thing, that how can I get better? Next part, jumping to conclusions. Again, a very, very common thing with students, that immediately they jump to conclusions without really going uh, with the facts. So आप 3-4 mocks का trend देखोगे, you might see a difference in the feelings that you have and the actual data that is getting displayed as a result of the analysis that you have done. What do I mean by this? That jumping to conclusions just because in one of the mocks something bad happened, you will assume that this is how things are going to be. Please don't do that. Please keep away from all the negativity in your life, especially at this point in time. You have to be extremely optimistic, positive, thoughtful while you're preparing, with the sole objective, as I said, of getting better. The way you think will define the ultimate percentile that you will have. And that's a very, very strong statement that I'm making. Your preparation is one part, but the way you look at things, the way you react to things, the way you look at life in general. So don't have this habit of jumping to conclusions कि एक बार कुछ चीज बिगड़ गई तो खराबी होगी. What is it that I can learn from it? How can I get better? That should be the right attitude. Finally, understand that what is it when you prepare for CAT? Is it a 100-meter sprint or is it a marathon? क्या वो 100 मीटर की रेस है या वो मैराथन है? So understand that CAT, preparation for CAT is more on the lines of a correct. And therefore, it is extremely important for you to be consistent rather than having high bursts of energy for a short period of time. You have to be consistently strong for larger periods of time. तो ये लंबी रेस है और आपको लंबी रेस का घोड़ा बनना है. So for that, again, gradual improvements day in and day out. आज कुछ नया सीखा, कल कुछ नया सीखा, परसों कुछ नया सीखा. Gradually, you will go ahead and improve daily. So take this spirit कि it is not going to change in one day or two. This will be a gradual process that will happen over a period of time. Finally, no need to take undue pressure. And this is something that I've seen a lot of students do, especially good ones जिनके mocks में अच्छे score आते हैं. You tend to feel that mocks में तो अच्छे score आ ही रहे हैं, so it is expected of me, everybody around me, my friend circle, family members, teachers are expecting that I'll score well, and therefore you tend to assume that you will do well. Please don't have these assumptions. Unless you perform on the D-Day, there are no guarantees that you will get a good percentile. And if that is the case, it will keep you down to earth. It will keep you humble that, things are unpredictable and I'm doing my best. Hopefully things will be good, rather than having this attitude of the pressure of expectation that, yes, I'm going to definitely get a 99 percentile. So this pressure is unnecessary. Don't look at what others are saying, especially when others are praising you. Just ignore those parts. When I say ignore those parts, does not mean that you discredit the efforts that you're doing. Fabulous, you're doing well, good. But don't go beyond that and take a leap of faith that this is what it takes. No, unless you do it, it's not done. So understand this part कि undue pressure नहीं लेना है expectations का. Just try and make sure that you learn every day. The whole objective is to get better. Keep working hard, and I think broadly that is all that I wanted to cover as far as this agenda for strategy to get 99 percentile in CAT is concerned. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, you can put those questions in the chat and we'll try our best to respond to it. There'll be regular sessions in the Short Success series that will be coming live at 3 p.m. daily. Please be ready with some of the questions depending on the topic, and I'll be happy to respond to them. With this, I'll take a leave. Ciao.